Ganduje. Ganduje gatan Abba Ganduje. Kai Abba ga babanka Ganduje. Ka bi ubanka kai Abba. Sabon komanda Murtala Garo. Murtala Salan Garo uban yaro. Komanda Murtala. Ya ce kana wa sai uban Abba. Zuwan Ganduje riba. Yan ayyuka ya yi su har uba.
From the 44 local governments that we have in Kano State, INEC has officially announced about 15 local governments, of which time will not allow me to read the figures from all these 15 local governments, but I can be able to tell you that the local governments we have right now on ground were officially announced by INEC here in Kano include Madobi, Bebeji, Kunchi, Tambata, Karaye, Albasu, Garko, Bunkure, Rano, Bagwai, Kibia, Tsanyawa, Gorzo, and Tofa local governments. All these local governments were announced by the various collection officers of each and every local government. And from all these 15 local government areas that we have in Kano State, I'll give you a breakdown of the figures that each and every political party scored from the 15 local governments. APC has 306,676 votes from the 15 local governments out of the 44 local governments. And PDP has 252,978 votes, also from 15 local governments out of the 44 local governments. So it's going to be a long day and probably a very, very long night till tomorrow morning. But whatever the case may be, we will be here and we will keep on updating you on any developments that may come around.
Sai mun gaida sarkinmu. Baban Abba Ganduje. Wai da jalla na saba, na kira ka na samu. Uban Abba Ganduje.
Ganduje Abdullahi Umar of All Progressive Congress, having satisfied the requirement of the law and scored the highest number of votes, is hereby declared the winner and is returned elected.
I guess Idris Jibrin is ready
like you see,
for us.
The
Idris.
Kano State election here. I'm right now at the collection center in Kano State, and the Independent National Electoral Commission, the collection officer, Professor Bello Shehu, has just announced the results, where he declared the present governor, Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, as the winner of the election that was conducted, the supplementary election and the previous election that was conducted. Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje has been declared as the winner of that particular election. So right now I am together with the chairman of the All Progressive Congress in Kano, Prince Abdullahi Abbas, that will be shedding more light to us regarding these developments from the previous election to the rerun election and to the victory that the APC has recorded today in Kano. Thank you very much for joining us, sir.
Thank you very much.
How can you describe this success to your party, the APC in Kano State?
Thank you. But first and foremost, I want to use this opportunity to thank Almighty God for giving us this victory. And I want to use the opportunity again to thank the people of Kano for coming out in mass to support my party, to vote for my party. And I want to use this opportunity again to call on the other candidates to come forward and help us to build Kano. We are all, they are contesting just because they wanted to help Kano. They wanted to put their support and to people of Kano. So we thank God for all this. And the election today, the result today shows that people of Kano appreciate what the governor is doing. And APC is for, Kano is for APC, Kano is for Ganduje, and Kano is for Buhari.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
remember we did tell you the situation in Kano State when incumbent Governor Abdullahi Ganduje has been declared winner of the election following the supplementary results. The results of the supplementary elections that were added to the figures of the March 9th governorship election. Our correspondent Idris Jibrin is in Kano to give us an update on the situation there. Hi Idris, what's new?
Okay. Yes, thank you very much, Amarachi. As you can see right now, I am inside Kano State Government House in Antechamber, where we are expecting the governor-elect, Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, who is coming here to address journalists and some observers after the declaration of the results by the Independent National Electoral Commission. I must tell you that it took us about 3 hours to get to this place from INEC because of the jubilation. I think you can catch up with the footage that we've sent earlier. Thousands of people already have stormed the place in celebration of the results that was earlier announced by the Independent National Electoral Commission. And so far, I can say that we are still waiting. Like you see, everybody is set up, waiting for the governor to come and address journalists, probably telling them what we expect from him. But I can easily see the Kano State Commissioner of Information, whom I'm expecting to join us, to talk to us regarding what we expect from the governor. But in essence, the election was keenly contested, and the INEC collection officer, Professor Bello Shehu, announced that Governor Abdullahi Ganduje returned elected after the supplementary election, which took place yesterday, and the result was subsequently announced today. So any moment from now, the governor-elect, Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, will be coming to this hall to address journalists in this place.
Do keep your eyes on that press conference coming up soon. Idris Jibrin saying the governor, Ibrahim Ganduje, will be addressing journalists in a few minutes.
This success is not for me alone. It's not for my deputy governor. It's for the entire people of Kano State. So that we consolidate on our achievements. There is continuity in our policies, continuity in our programs, continuity and consolidation of what we have done in order to move Kano State forward. It is with heart full of joy and gratitude to Almighty Allah I address you today for the resounding victory that He granted us in the March 23 governorship and the House of Assembly supplementary elections in Kano State. And therefore, with utmost gratitude and humility, I wholeheartedly accept the mandate that you, the good people of Kano State, have again bestowed on me.
Political campaigns and the elections are over, and the people of Kano State have spoken. Our job now is to speak about the future of our great state, Kano State, the center of commerce. Our future does not lie on any of the things that we currently fight about. Our future cannot be built with a handout or dependency. Our future lies in the minds of our people. Our developmental aspirations must be built on sustainability and self-sufficiency. I strongly believe that a sustainable future for Kano is possible. In order to access that future, we must develop the minds of our people.
Kano State Governor-elect Abdullahi Ganduje has received a certificate of return from the Independent National Electoral Commission nearly 2 weeks after the commission declared him winner of the just concluded supplementary election in the state.
The elections that took place recently have taken place with a lot of experience which we have gained and which, as a commission, we will continue to use our past experiences to improve on our electoral processes and procedures.
During the presentation ceremony held at the INEC headquarters in Kano, Governor Ganduje assures that his government will continue to provide good governance for the people of the state.
Our future does not lie on any of the things that we currently fight about. Our future cannot be built with a handout or dependency. Our future lies in the minds of our people.
About, which is go to the States. So you promised the people, and we have to bring people. Well, there's one, our correspondent Idris Jibrin is in Kano. So here is what he's sending. Idris.
This is the moment the people of Kano State have been expecting. 29th May 2019. The official swearing-in ceremony of Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje and his deputy Nasiru Yusuf Gawuna. Now, Sana Abacha Stadium is filling to capacity. I am being joined by the chairman, Publicity Committee of the swearing-in ceremony, Malam Muhammad Garba, who will be shedding more light to us on what we will be expecting on this very important day in the history of Nigerian democracy. Kano in particular. Honorable, thank you very much for joining us.
In the speech of His Excellency the Governor, there are a lot of expectation. The people of Kano expect that there will be quite a number of new policies and new innovations that will further add value to the lives of the people of Kano State.
Thank you very much.
Vision of what we want Pulan to do in the next 4 years. It is to enthrone a legacy of prosperity for all our people. We are committed to the building of consolidation of a state in which there shall be effective health and educational system, a flourishing agriculture and agribusiness sector, integrated rural development, renewed urban infrastructure, more employment opportunities, enhanced security and peace to boost our economic growth and development in Kano State. In the area of education, in line with our earlier position in my victorious speech, government will make basic and post-basic education free and compulsory to all citizens of Kano State, while on the other hand, tertiary education will remain highly subsidized. In the same vein, education today is declared free at all levels for the physically challenged persons, including tertiary institutions.
Ka kula da kanka kai Abubakar su iza ka
that in a way we try to solve the problem. That is the issue of compulsory and free primary and secondary education in Kano State, including girls' education. So by so doing, we prolong the period for which girls, when they're in school and by implication, they get married at a better age. That is a better way, though it serves in the long term. But when somebody is educated, I think most of the problems will be solved.
Good healthcare delivery for all ages and quality education seems to be non-negotiable to the administration of Kano State Governor Abdullahi Ganduje.
Global reforms in the education industry.
In 2018, the government introduced a healthcare contributory scheme to protect families from the financial hardship associated with huge medical bills. In addition to this, the state government recently introduced a health development trust fund, where 5% of the state and 1% of the local government's monthly IGR is reserved for improvement of health facilities.
They and their families are getting medical attention almost free of charge. The hospitals, both government and private hospitals, are being involved because they are being engaged.
There is also a lot going on in the state education sector, as scholars, government officials, primary and secondary schools pupils gather to flag off the School-Based Management Committee and School Improvement Program of the Universal Basic Education. Some selected schools were given funds to enable them continue running the schools uninterrupted.
The federal government of Nigeria instituted the formation of SBMCs across all schools in the Federation. The Commission, anchoring on that, followed suit and they started positive engagement with the communities.
Free and compulsory access to basic and secondary education is already enforced in Kano State, with a directive that all primary and secondary schools adopt the National School Management Document Improvement Program.
I believe the singular honor done to Kano State by UBEC for choosing us as hostel state must have been informed by the level of our dear state's commitments, advancements in the area of community engagement and in education through SBMC, coupled with our stride for free basic education for all and its bid in addressing the universal sustainable development goals.
The state government says the provision of additional healthcare and educational facilities will cut across the 44 local government areas of the state under the Kano State Massive Education and Healthcare Service Delivery Program. Idris Jibrin, Channels Television News.
Welcome everyone to the program. We begin with Nigeria's Vice President, Professor Yemeshibajo, making a state visit to Kano for the launch of free compulsory education in the state. Also lined up in the Vice President's itinerary is the integration of Quranic education into modern education. The Vice President is also expected to attend the unveiling of a solar power technology. We have our correspondent, Idris Jibrin, who joins us from the ancient city of Kano. Hello, Idris. What are the activities lined up ahead of the Vice President's visit?
This is not the first time Kano State government is conducting a summit on education. But this year's own, it's completely different from the previous ones we have seen, for simple fact that the Kano State government has introduced free and compulsory education for school-age children. And the summit will also look at the challenges and prospects of Al-Majiri system of education in Kano State. And it will also look at the professionalism of teachers in various primary and secondary schools across the state. From Kano State Government House, Idris Jibrin, Channels Television News.
That report. Well, the federal government has commended the efforts of Kano State government towards implementing the presidential directive of ensuring free and compulsory education at the flag-off ceremony of the Kano State two-day summit on free and compulsory basic and secondary education, the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, restated the role of basic education as the foundation of the socio-economic development in any nation. Our correspondent Idris Jibrin reports.
Professionals in the education sector in Kano State have been rubbing minds on integrating the Almajiri system. Teacher training, ensuring quality learning is not compromised as other issues affecting the sector.
One of the primary functions of education is to prepare individuals for societal change, national growth and economic development.
The Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, believes that to make the country a competitive economy globally, the Every Child Count policy must be adhered to, and Kano State appears to be doing well in this regard.
Kano has always been reputed as a place of learning, and this landmark policy pronouncement on free and compulsory education will not only draw over 1 million out-of-school children in the state from the streets into the classrooms, but it also sets a hugely important precedent for other states to follow.
For Governor Abdullahi Ganduje, the introduction of free and compulsory education is to show his desire to turn Kano into a more enlightened state and to solve the challenges of Almajiri system of education.
In order to streamline these schools, integrate them into the free and compulsory education program, the government has set up Quranic and Islamia Schools Management Board. In order to ensure maximum access to education by all, the government has abolished payment of school fees in all public secondary schools with effect from September 2019.
With the state government's direct funding of over 1,000 Almajiri schools under its monthly spending of about 200 million naira, participants feel this is the right way to integrate these Angaya Quranic schools. Idris Jibrin, Channels Television News. June 2014, a date to be remembered in the history of Kano Emirate, when Nigerians learn of the sudden death of the longest-serving emir in Kano, late Alhaji Ado Bayero. 2 days after his funeral prayers, one of his nephews, a former Central Bank of Nigeria's governor, is appointed and subsequently coronated as Muhammadu Sunusi II, contrary to expectations. A vastly experienced banker and Islamic scholar, Emir Muhammadu Sunusi II quickly wins over the people of the emirate with his charm, intelligence, and oratorical skills, while the eldest son of the late emir goes into exile.
I have decided that so long as the Emir of Kano speaks, there is nothing like an uncontroversial topic. Even if I say build a bridge, there will be something, some interpretation to that will make it a topic of controversy.
Shortly after his re-election, Governor Ganduje drops a strong hint of an initiative aimed at creating an enabling environment that will bring the government closer to the people, especially the rural communities.
This is an arrangement now that will make the system more efficient, because the issue of education, the issue of security, the issue of agriculture, they are too many and they are too heavy
to be allowed to one centralized traditional system. So we assume and we know the present structure will certainly promote security, will certainly promote education. More employment will be available when we promote agriculture at the grassroots.
One of the governor's first aggressive reforms begins with the signing into law the Emir's Appointment and Deposition Act 2019 to create 4 more additional first-class emirates. Governor Abdullahi Ganduje had earlier explained that the creation of the new emirates is not aimed at settling scores with anyone. So far, Emir Sanusi has maintained silence over the drama trailing the new emirate creation. But it would be interesting to hear what he says when he eventually speaks. From Kano, Idris Jibrin reporting for Channels Television News. This week, Governor Abdullahi Ganduje signed a bill into law, the Emir's Appointment and Deposition Act 2019, which paved the way for the creation of 4 additional first-class emirates, which Gaya, Rano, Karaye, and Bichi. Now, yesterday, a court order was issued restraining the state government from taking any further action relating to this development. Now, today, it is expected that Governor Abdullahi Ganduje will distribute appointment letters to those 4 new first-class emirs. According to the State Commissioner of Information, the court order is yet to be served to the state executive governor. This is the moment, the second phase of the implementation of the Kano State Emir's Appointment and Deposition Act, signed into law by Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje early this week. 4 emirs have just received their letter of appointment from the Kano State Governor, and the date of coronation would subsequently be announced by the state government. According to most of these people, this is a huge development to the culture and tradition of the good people of Kano State.
This is an arrangement now that will make the system more efficient, because the issue of education, the issue of security, the issue of agriculture, they are too many and they are too heavy to be allowed to one centralized traditional system. So we assume and we know the present structure will certainly promote security, will certainly promote education.
Hundreds of people from Bichi, Gaya, Rano, and Karaye kingdoms in Kano State gathered at the indoor sports complex of the Sana Abacha Stadium to officially meet their new traditional rulers. Governor Abdullahi Ganduje arrives at the venue in the company of state government officials amid cheers from the people who have come to witness what they call a new dawn in the state's traditional institution. This is the moment, the second phase of the implementation of the Kano State Emir's Appointment and Deposition Act, signed into law by Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje early this week. 4 emirs have just received their letter of appointment from the Kano State Governor, and the date of coronation would subsequently be announced by the state government. According to most of these people, this is a huge development to the culture and tradition of the good people of Kano State. Alhaji Amina Ado Bayeru, the son of the late Emir of Kano, is now the Emir of Bichi. Alhaji Ibrahim Abdulkadir, the Emir of Gaya, Alhaji Tafida Abubakar, Emir of Rano, and Alhaji Abubakar Ibrahim II is the new Emir of Karaye Kingdom. Governor Ganduje believes that the official presentation of the new emirs is the first step at ensuring that the people get to meet their leaders, while the state government prepares for their coronation ceremony. The governor believes this will bring about all-round developments in all sectors of the state's economy.
It's an initiation by this administration in order to diversify the traditional system, in order to make the system more effective
and more efficient, especially considering the developmental challenges that we are facing. Because what the ceremony we are holding here, the traditional rulers, the newly appointed emirs, they are here to appreciate what the government has done to them.
The secretary to the state government clears the air on the purported presentation of appointment letters, noting that the emirs had since been presented with their appointment letters before this presentation.
I want to inform the public that we offered the letters of appointment to our 4 new first-class emirs, and at the same time they wrote letters of acceptance which were submitted to my office on the 9th of this month, May.
By these appointments, Kano Royal Dynasty will now have 5 first-class emirs, with the Emir of Kano Municipal Emirate, Muhammad Sanusi II, as the chairman of the Kano Emirate Council of Traditional Rulers. From Kano, Idris Jibrin, reporting for Channels Television News.
Let's go to Bichi in Kano Royal Emirates. The newly installed Emir, His Royal Highness Aminu Ado Bayero, held his very first Durbar as the Emir of Bichi. Here are the sights and the sounds.
Bichi is one of the new emirates created recently under the Kano State Emir's Appointment and Deposition Act 2019. Alhaji Aminu Ado Bayero, the son of the late Emir of Kano, is the new Emir of Bichi Kingdom. This is his first Durbar as an Emir. The reason it's so significant to him, the Bichi royal dynasty and the people of the kingdom. The Bichi Durbar festival became unique for the people of this kingdom for many reasons, and it is therefore not surprising to see the turnout of the people to celebrate their beautiful cultural heritage.
Kuma da muke faɗa jama'a ku yi hankali kasancewa dukkanin waɗannan hakiman da za su shigo za su kewaye ne ta wajen mai girma gwamnan jihar Kano domin su gaisuwa a gare shi kafin su je su fara jayi. Kuma da muke faɗa garin Bichi ya yi shigar da kusan in muka ce ranar nan fiye da wannan katafaren jayi zai kasance.
The new Emir, his district heads and other traditional title holders rode on their horses to mark this Durbar called Hawan Daushe, and the state governor, Abdullahi Ganduje, was among the visitors who stormed Bichi to witness this historic event. The whole purpose is to promote peace and stability by bringing the people together, regardless of the emirate they fall under.
whatever position you are, whoever you become, the bottom line is the development of those you are ruling. So if all these new emirs and the former emir and the emir of Kano are really, which I believe is, interested in the peace and unity of the state and Nigeria at large, I don't see any reason why we cannot unite as leaders and continue with this peace and unity. That is the way I'm looking at it. And I believe not only the emirs, whoever is in Kano is after peace and unity of the state and the country. So creation or not creating anything has nothing to do with peace. As long as the leaders have the interest of the generality of the people at heart, I don't think there will be any problem concerning the peace and unity of the
country. Peace is the message from the Emir of Bichi, Aminu Ado Bayero, now addressed by his people as Ado Bayero II. The graduate of mass communication from Bayero University, Kano, is the second son of over 60 children of the late Emir Ado Bayero. The new Emir of Bichi has held several traditional titles. He was first appointed by his late father as Dan Maji of Kano, and later promoted to Damburang, and then to Turaki, and then to Sarkin Dawakin Tsakargida, and later became the district head of Dala. The Durbar Festival is a time for everyone in the Emirate to celebrate. A successful outing this edition of the festival has been. They look forward to next year to gather again and celebrate.
Back home in Nigeria, it's the day after the Eid al-Kabir celebration, and Muslim faithful across the country are still in a festive mood. In some northern states, the Durbar Festival is another round of fiesta to showcase the rich cultural tradition of the people. It's an age-long tradition that comes with color, pomp and pageantry, and in Kano State, horse riders, district heads and other traditional title holders under the Kano Emirate, led by Emir Muhammadu Sanusi II, enjoy the beauty of this year's Durbar Festival in honor of the President of Guinea, Alpha Condé. Our correspondent, Idris Jibrin, has this report.
It's celebration time in Kano Emirate, and the people know exactly how to do it. It is called Hawan Doshe, a traditional Durbar entertainment observed a day after each celebrations in Kano. It is relentless in motion, splendid in color, and interesting horsemanship. This year's Durbar is different for some reasons. It is the first time the Emirate is hosting President of neighboring Guinea, President Alpha Condé. And he has some warm words.
It is a necessity that we maintain the reinforcement of the traditional culture, because it is the traditional culture that determines the value of a people.
Unlike before, it's only 8 district heads under the Kano Municipal Emirates are here, following the creation of 4 additional first-class emirates.
the spirit of, of ECOWAS. He is here to be with us, to appreciate our culture, and also very importantly to discuss business opportunities, investment opportunities between Kano and the Republic of Guinea.
Next, the chairman, Council of Kano Traditional Rulers, Muhammadu Sunusi II, leads the colorful train out to pay homage to the visiting president, the state governor, and other foreign diplomats. Hawan Daushe is just an aspect of Durbas in Kano. As the celebration continues, so the Durbar. Idris Jibrin, Channels Television News.
Federal government should abolish the movement of herdsmen from the northern part of Nigeria to the southern part of Nigeria, because that creates a lot of problems. And the only way to do it is the legal issue. This legal settlement is a must, and to us in Kano State, is a task that must be done, because we must improve the quality of life of the herdsmen so that they become full Nigerians and behave like any other good Nigerian, so that the conflict that we are having all over the country will be reduced. And at the same time, they can improve the way they breed their cattle, because we have already trained 72 of the herdsmen children in artificial insemination. We have constructed 2 artificial insemination centers in Kano. And in this Ruga settlement, which we have started now, we are also established artificial insemination centers so that the breeding system of their cattle will be according to the modern system. That is where we are heading to. And that is why we are saying all herdsmen all over the country should come here to Kano. We are already, getting an assistance from the Islamic Bank so that we develop postures for grazing areas. And we believe when the herdsmen converge here in Kano, it will be a good omen for the people of Kano State. You know the multiplier effect of the animal husbandry. We are already planning to build an ultra-modern abattoir here in Kano State so that the chain can be built right from bottom to the top.
Now, in other peace initiatives, while the Ruga settlement program of the federal government remains suspended, the Kano state government is planning to begin the process to settle Fulani herdsmen in the state. Governor Abdullahi Ganduje says the idea will go a long way towards the provision of grazing areas, not only for the Fulani people in Kano, but in the entire country. Under the state Ruga settlement project, Governor Ganduje says schools, housing, hospitals, grazing reserves, artificial insemination centers, among other social amenities, will be provided to the Fulani herdsmen. He was speaking at the inauguration of the state's Ruga Settlement Committee in Kano.
Territorial mobility and its attendant
production of master plan of the Ruga settlement, a whole master plan, a town plan of Ruga. Determine the type of social services and infrastructure to be provided in the Ruga settlement, e.g. veterinary hospital, veterinary clinics, provision of water, provision of schools, markets, etc. And also looking at the whole system. It is more of socio-cultural rather socio-economic. and it has to change to socio-economic. Otherwise, it will continue to be an economic venture. So in Kano State, having looked at all the issues concerned, both at national and state level, we decided to create Ruga settlements in our forests that are existing, and with the help of Islamic Development Bank, grazing areas will be provided.
Baharin kana wa amadi gungo ko gaishe ka.